Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so as usual, we will start with recap of last week. So as usual, my question is, what was the topic last week? Anybody has gone through the
Who is your
PDF?
greatest enemy?
Yes. Okay, it's actually reasons for sins and places of sin. The reason why people sin and where the sin are, the place where the sin is located, the places of sin. All right. So the question was, who is your who is your greatest enemy? Okay. So what was that?
Last.
Lust, very good. Okay, so how? The first question, how does lust bind us to this world? Through what?
Through our senses, mind and intelligence.
Okay, yeah, so the activity that revolves around our mind, sense, and intelligence. Okay, so what happens? What is the end product of this activity?
We must follow the 4 pillars.
Okay, so before that, what binds us to this material world? What is it? What is the product of lust?
The last.
Passion.
Okay.
Greed.
Okay,
Oh,
greed, one answer. Another one?
From desire,
Anger.
Mataji.
Okay,
Anger.
desire is when the desire is too intense, we call it lust. All right. Also, desire for over wanting things. Okay. So, what it leads to? One is greed. Another one?
Bondage.
Yes, that is the answer. So, before bondage, let us take a step back and see what is the product of lust. One is greed. One is, what is the other one? Very important.
Anger. Anger.
Yeah. So this greed, the lust is the big brother, and the 2 younger brothers is lust, anger and greed. So this will lead to bondage. That is how we are bound to this world. So that's how it works. Okay. All right. So the next one, what are the sitting places of lust? How many?
3. 3.
Okay. What are those 3?
Senses, intelligence, and mind.
Okay, so we start from the beginning. Mind, senses, intelligence. So everything starts with mind. The mind starts having idea. This is remember, mind is the center of all the activities. Okay, so it will have some ideas, and then it will tell the senses, hey, come on, let's, go and enjoy. All right. So this is where the repository of lust is, the senses. And then because of all these enjoyments, the intelligence will conclude that, okay, this enjoyment giving us the happiness. Therefore, let us continue with this lustful propensity. So like that, mind, senses, and intelligence. So this intelligence is neighbor of who? It is the next door neighbor of who?
Senses.
No.
Mind.
Mind.
No.
Mind.
No.
Senses.
No, we already covered mind, we already covered senses, we are covering intelligence. So we are going to the next element now. This intelligence is the neighbor of who?
Soul.
Yes, spirit, soul. And this intelligence will tell the soul, okay, this is how you should keep yourself engaged. It's happiness, it's cool, it's enjoyment. So like that, what does it do to the soul?
Become sinful activity.
A false ego.
Commit sinful activity.
Say that again, Mataji. Do you have, can you elaborate on that? Do you have the notes?
Commit sinful activity.
No, I think Tamare Mataji. Tamare Mataji, right? If I can recognize your voice.
Okay. The intelligence influence the spirit soul. False egos. It enjoys the false egos.
It is asking the spirit soul to enjoy under the influence of the false ego. Okay, so it is actually influencing the spirit soul to act in such a way. So what is happening is the spirit soul is deluded by false ego. Okay, all right. So next question, can lust be satisfied? Just one more time. Today I'll do. Tomorrow I'll do. Next month is last. Can if you go this way, can last be ever satisfied?
No.
Okay. Why? What is the example that was given last week?
Become great. That's why.
Okay.
It's
What
gonna-
else? What is the example that we discussed last week?
Mm.
It's like pouring what into what?
Oh,
Right.
fill into the fire.
Very good. So you can only pour water if you keep pouring fuel. Just this one more time. This one more time because you're feeding the lust. You feed. The lust will never satisfy. It will keep burning. So it's as good as putting fuel into a burning fire, burning flames. All right. So it doesn't work like that. It's not effective at all. So now that we have covered the origin of lust, okay, and what is the byproduct of lust, okay, and we have covered the sitting places of lust, and we understand the fact that the lust cannot be satisfied no matter how many chance you give for yourself, right? So what do we do? How do we curb this using the 3 places of the lust sitting? How can we use that sitting places of lust to engage in Krishna service? Anybody remembers?
Yeah, engage ourselves in Krishna conscious.
Okay, that is a big banner, all right? That is a big umbrella. So now we are going to dissect mind, sense, and intelligence. How do we do that?
This one, the conquer senses will be by following rules and regulations.
Regulation.
Very good. So you are
um,
still seeing, you are still hearing, you are still smelling, you are still eating, you are still touching, but all the you dovetail into Krishna consciousness, following the regulative principles of Bhakti, yeah, not the 4 regulative principles of normal human. That one we did earlier, the Kali, all right? So that is applicable for everyone, whether devotee or not. It should be applicable for everyone. It's more of a moral, more of a righteous character to have, for everybody to have. So a step above that is to follow regulative principles. Okay, so we have done senses. What is next?
The mind.
Control
mind.
mind.
Chanting.
Control the mind. Very good.
Chanting Maha Mantra.
Correct. So chanting the Maha Mantra is just like the mirror is covered by
Dust.
Dust.
dust. So how do we clean the dust on the mirror? We wipe, we scrub like that. So can we scrub and wipe our heart? Not possible. So there is a subtle way of doing it, which is the chanting of the Maha Mantra. That will do the job. Okay, you try that. It will definitely do the job. You can try. This is all proven and can be directly, it is called directly perceived. We call that. Krishna said that in Bhagavad Gita. He said these activities is that the benefit is directly perceived through these activities. Okay. All right. The third one, intelligence.
Happen
To
by
understand
reading the
knowledge.
scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam.
Very good. So feeding knowledge to the intelligence through reading and hearing scriptures like Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So very good. You all remember that. So it's all about understanding. It's not about memorizing. It's understand because everything is practical. We know already where this lust are sitting. So you know it's either the mind or the senses or the intelligence. One of these. Definitely, it will not lari. Okay, so you know where to. You have to park your army, your battalion of soldiers at these places. Okay, so whether you want to use a cannonball or you want to use a machine gun, so whichever way. Okay, so recently there was Parikram and Guru Maharaj was saying that the individual chanting is done silently, right, in your circle, it's just your private space, right? But why devotees, especially after Mahaprabhu came and then he propagated the importance of this Sankirtan means going out and chanting loudly with so many people. Okay, and there were resistance from a lot of Brahmanas saying, oh, this mantra is very powerful. How can you simply go and spread it so freely like this and everybody will get benefit? So Mahaprabhu wanted to break that. He wanted to give everybody the chance So that's where it started 500 plus years ago. So Guru Maharaj was saying, this Sankirtan, your chanting is in your private space, is for you. But when you go Sankirtan, it's like machine gun, and he acted it out how the machine gun shoot everybody. It's not like a pistol, it's a machine gun. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets the mercy. So that is the benefit of chanting. Okay, so the chanting loudly is very beneficial because it doesn't only benefit us individually, it benefits people around us. So that's the fastest way. Okay, so where is your last sitting, mind, intelligence, or senses. Okay, so you just dovetail that accordingly. All right, and then we also saw how there are 3 degrees of lust. Anybody remembers that? What is the first degree, second degree, and the third degree? First degree means can be revived. Krishna consciousness or spiritual activities can be revived. Second is 50-50. Third one is very difficult. So it goes like that. Anybody remembers the 3 levels? No? Try to recall. Remember the baby in the womb? Maybe remember the dust covering the mirror. Remember the smoke covering the fire. So now I've given all shuffled. I shuffled it. I didn't give in sequence. So who can put in sequence and explain to me? Explain to us. Come.
The fire is covered by smoke.
Yeah, what does that mean? It means that person has a little bit of Krishna consciousness, little bit of God consciousness. You just have to fan it so that the fire will become big. All right, even though the smoke is covering the fire, but the fire is there. The presence of fire is there. So you attend Bhagavad Gita level 1, level 2, level 3, you fan that. And then after that, you attend other gurus' classes on YouTube, you fan like that. And then you come to temple, do some service, and then you fan it more. All right, and then you provide Lakshmi's or contribution for work in Krishna consciousness. That one also will fan that more. So like this, these are the activities that can possibly fan the fire of that, the first layer of lust. Okay, so second one. Which one is the second one? Which one is the 50-50?
The dust, the mirror is covered by the dust.
Yes. So this one, how do we clean that? By various spiritual practices. Okay, so this can be applicable for animals, beasts, and human that behave like animals. A human that has an animal mentality. So like I said, like the machine gun, you shoot everybody, so everybody gets benefit. Okay, not everybody will come for the class, sit and listen and do the chanting. No, some people, they just can't come. All right, so for this kind of people, that Sankirtan will do that magic. That Prasadam distribution will do that magic. By seeking their donation and engaging in Krishna service will do the magic. Ask them to buy some book. Please give some donation, 2 ringgit, 3 ringgit, you will get this book. So that will do the magic. So these are the various spiritual activities that can help them, whoever in the second degree of lust. The third one, the difficult one is like what?
The embryo is covered by the womb.
Womb, yeah, so helpless, cannot do anything. All right, this is like tree. You wanted to cut the tree, also the tree cannot run for its life, cannot defend. All right, so like that is a helpless condition. We try not to go into that. Right, it will be very difficult. All right, so done with the recap. So I hope you can remember these, right? So remember the part that we covered on the false ego, how the intelligence will try to influence the spiritual that you are the enjoyer, enjoy like that. All right, speak your mind today. Who is the first person you can think of to whom you would like to apologize, but you do not want to? Have you identified the person? And why? Why you don't want to? What is stopping you? Anyone? Please share.
Our mind.
Who is the person that you wanted to say sorry to, but you don't want to? And why you don't want to? Come on, don't be shy. We are on the 17, 18 week, and we are sharing a lot. No judging. Is all for the benefit of our knowledge. We really need to bring out this sharing so that what we're going to learn for the rest of the session will give an answer why we feel like that. Nothing too personal, so something general that you want to say. Sometimes you want to say sorry to your children. Sometimes you want to say sorry to your mom or sister or brother or friend. These kind of simple things, you know. No, nobody.
Okay, I'll tell something.
Okay, Prabhu.
All right. I love to. The first person I want to say sorry could be is my mother, lah.
Mm,
But I can't apologize to her
mm,
because I had a lot of ego,
mm,
and she passed away.
mm. Sorry to hear,
That
Prabhu.
is the thing that I cannot say anything because that time I was young and hot-tempered, and she left my house to go to her elder son's house, which I didn't encourage.
Mm.
That is why. Till today I regret, but it's life lah. Life has to go on. It's after 26 years going on.
Okay, so what was that? Just now you mentioned the ego stopped you, right? So what was it
The
exactly?
ego was because they were staying with me for a long time.
Mm,
But then suddenly, all of a sudden, 2 months before she actually died, she
Mm.
left the house to go to her brother's house.
mm,
And exactly 2 months, she passed away. And she was a cancer patient. I was taking care of her. I giving her morphine and everything. I went through the whole process. So I know,
Mm.
but they never even bothered.
mm.
And then the other thing is that because of the thing is very frustrated, I left my job. I sold my house in BM and moved to KL.
Mm.
That was it. Lah. So it was very, I cannot apologize to her, but I made it lah, after leaving that place in BM.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your heart, Prabhu.
Right.
Yeah. So like this, we have many people that we want to say sorry to, but something is stopping us because why should I? Like that. Why should I? Why not that person? What did I do? It's not my fault. I'm better than them. I didn't make any mistake. I'm perfect. They made the mistake. So yeah, many times we want to be right.
And,
Yeah. So we
but I don't regret it.
That is pride or pride.
It's not pride. It's not pride. I don't regret it because of the scenario. And till today, from 94 till now, I don't talk to any of my family members. It's not
Okay.
pride. It's just that because the way they treated.
Okay, you just disengage yourself. Is that what you're trying to say, Prabhu?
I disconnected from everybody, and all the 13 marriages that the children had, I was never invited. So why should I invite them for my daughter's marriage next year?
This kind of things really unavoidable, right, Prabhu? In a relationship,
Yeah, no, it's just not that. The simple reason is that they don't know where I live.
Okay.
Excuse. But when want money, everybody wants money.
That is material world, Prabhu.
Yeah, very true.
Be selfless. All right. So yeah, so we always have to divert our focus on the Lord, and the Lord is always our best friend. He will never disappoint us. Whatever we ask, He gives us based on with the interaction of the three modes material nature, and based on our karmic reactions, that's what we get. Okay, He's very fair.
But now I'm at peace, and I'm very happy because I do my meditation at 3:45 every morning without fail for the last 8 years, and I'm very happy about it, and I got no regrets.
Okay,
it's past. I just have to move on.
All right, nice to hear from you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So like this, what we can conclude here is that we generally refuse to apologize because we are covered by false ego, right? Ego is different. False ego is different. Oftentimes, ego is during conversation, it's very easy for us to pick that word ego. But philosophically speaking, there is true ego and there is false ego. And we always, and because of that, we think that we are always correct and others are wrong. So with that, we are entering the weak false ego today. Before that,
Oh, thank
false,
you.
yeah, it's actually false ego that we are great. I am right. They are wrong. Or I did my best. They should have understood me. So these are all the false ego thinking. What does true ego thinks? That we will see today. Okay, so before this, I have indicated the differences between true ego and false ego. But this time in level 3, we have a topic on false ego by itself. Right. Before moving that, I want you to recall from chapter 13, we had 24 elements. Okay. First was the Panchabhuta. What was that? 5 gross elements. We have 24, so I'm starting with 5. Yashoda Priya Mataji.
Fire. Fire.
Water, fire.
Yeah, you feel free to put in the chat. Yeah. Okay.
Either.
Earth, fire.
Earth, fire, water, air, and ether.
Very good. Okay. After that, we have working senses, we have knowledge acquiring senses, and we have sense objects. Okay, so like this, finally, we will come into this diagram. If you remember the diagram, there is soul. There is a layer of covering, 3 layers of covering. Who can tell me that?
With the gross element and subtle element.
Very good. Gross element and subtle element. Gross is what we can touch. Okay. What is subtle?
Our mind, intelligence, and ego.
Very good. False ego. Remember? False ego. If we don't have false ego, we won't be sitting here. We're already in Goloka. We're already with Krishna. Because this soul is covered by 3 layers, subtle, right? So we are still here. Remember, when we die, we are only shedding our gross body. And all our memories, our impressions from the current life will be carried on to the next life along with the soul. The 3 layer that is covering the soul, right? These are the one that carries the soul to another body. Okay, until and unless these 3 layers is purified through devotional services, the spirit soul is going to remain trapped in this material world, in material bodies. The moment we purify these 3 layers, then we are on the way to Krishna. So remember this process. All right. So this topic might get technical, so you may want to write down some notes. Okay. So again, what is covering the spirit soul? I want to hear from somebody else. Sharana Mataji. What are the 3 elements that's covering the spirit soul?
Sorry, Mataji.
Kanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, I'm also still searching for the answer.
Okay. Indra Mataji.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you, Mataji.
Okay. Prema Papu Mataji. Prema Papu Mataji. Not there. So how many of you are listening? Tamare Mataji.
False ego.
Okay, that's one.
False ego and I could only remember.
Okay, very good. So far, very good, Mataji.
False ego.
Sirisha Mataji.
Intelligence.
Very good. One more. Who else? Punita Mataji.
Mind.
Yes, very good. Mind, intelligence, false ego. Level 1, level 2. Level 2, we covered chapter 13 in 2 days. We covered that in 2 days. So, you know how deep the knowledge is in chapter 13. And then every now and then also I repeat, right? Just now also I repeated. So if you could just do me a humble favor, avoid distractions around you and just give your attention for another an hour. Okay, less than an hour. Okay. So at this stage, right, we level 3, this should be like really inside our mind already. All right, so you always need to know that we have gross body and we have subtle body, and this is the subtle body that you see and view as ghosts, because they do not assume gross body like us. All right, so these are the elements that carrying our impressions from life to life. Okay, so remember that: mind, intelligence, false ego. So let's zoom into the false ego today. We will discuss about the mind and intelligence next week. Okay, all right, so I need somebody to read this. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains where this false ego comes. What is the quality? Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Somebody can read the English?
Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actually carried out by the 3 modes of material nature.
Yes, okay, he thinks, thank you, Mataji. So we think that we are the doer, but we don't know that under the influence of the modes of material nature, we are acting in certain ways. Okay, we think we are the doer. Oh, I accomplished this, I did this, I achieved this, I. Okay, all right, so this is false ego. What is false ego? This is it. We thinking that we are the doer. So let's watch a 5 minutes video. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Question from Panduranga Charan Prabhu. What exactly is false ego and true ego? Actually, Prabhupada mentions in the purport
You can take down
13.8
the
to
notes.
12.
Yeah.
Answer: ego is the concept of ahamatva, I am. So, the sense of I-ness is foundational to our existence. We may change our name, we may change our nationality, we may change our skin color, whatever things we may change, but still the sense of I am remains the same. Now, so the sense of I am, the sense of I-ness is the sense of ego. Now, sometimes the word ego is used in a negative connotation. Ego is used to refer to pride, somebody who has arrogance, has got a lot of ego. So yes, that is one way of using the word ego, but that is a specific way of using. When we use it in the philosophical sense, there the ego refers just to sense of I-ness that is there. Now, when I am is followed by something which is unreal, that means I identify myself with something that I am not, then that is called as false ego. So when we identify with our body and we think I am Indian or I am American, I am a male or a female, or I am an engineer or I am a housewife or whatever, then these are all conceptions of false ego. Now, beyond them all is the true ego. So at one level we could say the true ego is Aham Brahma Asmi, I am Brahma. Yes, that is true ego, but still it is not the complete true ego. Because there one understands who we are in terms of our identity. But there we don't understand who we are in terms of our relationships. So, we have an individual identity, we have a social identity. And our complete identity is a combination of our individual and social identity. I may say, okay, I am a so and so person, but then as a part of my identity is also which country do I belong to. So like that, we all have our identity as an individual and we have identity in relationship. So Aham Brahmasmi gives our identity as in isolation, not in the relationship. So that identity in relationship is talked about, is pointed towards in the Bhagavad Gita in 15.7. Mamaivaamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manah shishthani indriyani prakritisthani karishyati. So Mamaivaamsho jiva loke. Mamaivaamsho. Krishna says all living beings are my amsha, my parts. So our complete identity is that we are parts of Krishna. We are meant to love and serve Krishna. Jivera swarupa hoye Krishnera nityadas. That we are eternally the servants of Krishna. That is our identity. So true ego means to understand that I am a servant of Krishna. So when the sense of I-ness is connected with truth, with the complete truth, not just the truth that I am the soul, but the truth that I am a soul who is a loving servant of Krishna, then that leads to the conception that is the true ego, the full understanding of who we are. We are eternal spiritual beings. So ego is something which can never be given up. The idea of impersonalists and voidists is that ego is something to be dissolved. That just as the candle gets extinguished, that is the metaphor, defining metaphor of Buddhism. Similarly, existence gets extinguished, or just as the air in a pot merges into the air in the atmosphere, so like that the small Brahma merges into the big Brahma, and that way the ego gets lost. That is the impersonal Mayavadi idea. But the Bhagavad Gita is telling in this verse, Mayamsha jivalaka jiva bhuta sanatana, where it is eternal parts. So the point here is that we can never give up ego. I am, the sense of I-ness is always there. But what changes is, what do we identify that sense of I-ness with? Who am I? When that is in connection with the body, then it is false ego. When it is connected with our true understanding of who we are, Rita Swarupa, then it is true ego. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. That's Chaitanya Charan Das Prabhu. Is a very good, very nice preacher. He conducts many structured courses like Bhakti Sastri and all. Okay, so who can share 2 points from what Prabhu mentioned? From Prabhu's clip.
He said,
Yes.
he said false ego connect to body when we identify oneself as who we are as in a material world, like a teacher.
Yeah.
So the other one is that when you, true ego is when you understand that I am a servant of Krishna.
Yes.
So he said something Brahma something, but I didn't get
Aham
it.
Brahmasmi.
Aham Brahmasmi.
What does that mean?
I am Brahman.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will come to that also. All right, so it's good that Tamre Mataji got the point, because false ego is identifying ourselves with the connecting ourselves with the identification in material world, whereas the true ego, of course, the first step is to understand that we are the spirit soul. Okay, spirit soul, and we should not stop there. All right, the next step is that we are servant of Krishna. So that is the difference. That is the difference between Aham Brahmasmi. I will come to that. Okay. It's good that you asked this question, and it's good that I've added some slides on that. So the original slide didn't have that, so I thought I should include that. All right. So what we can conclude from Prabhu's video is this. In other words, false ego makes us believe we are the doer. All right, it pushes us to take credit for everything, making us forget that Krishna is the controller. Everything is sanctioned by Krishna, and we are acting under the influence of 3 modes of material nature. Okay, if our nature is goodness, then we are going to conduct some things in the line of mode of goodness. So if same goes to passion and ignorance, and then at the end we are thinking, oh, I am the doer, I am the accomplisher, I achieved it is because of this only, this happened. So we want to take credit for that. So Prabhupada, in this connection, he shared one time in a class that he had interviewers asking him, interviewers, or many people come to him. Oh, Prabhupada, you have done such a wonderful thing. You have given this so many books. You have built so many temples. You have created so many followers. You have spread Krishna consciousness everywhere around the world. So Prabhupada replied that I do not know how to do something wonderful. I cannot manufacture gold. I cannot show any jugglery. All right. But if there is any credit, right? So far, Prabhupada is not taking any credit for all the accomplishments that he did. All right. But he still make a disclaimer that, but if there is any credit, then the only credit is I don't adulterate. That's all. The milk I'm giving you as pure as it is from Krishna, I'm giving it to you. I did not add water, right? That is the only credit that Prabhupada would say. That's the only credit that Prabhupada will take, that I get what I'm giving you is non-adulterated, no misinterpretation, as it is. Okay, so he doesn't use his expertise by adding water to the milk. That he does not do. So he presented Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that is the inspirational point here, that Prabhupada did not take credit. He has accomplished so many things, yet he said it was not his doing. Okay. So we ask this question in Vedanta Sutra. Atato Brahma Jignasa. Who am I? Sorry, what is Brahman? Atato Brahma Jignasa. What is Brahman? So it means I am Brahman. I mean, the answer is I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. So this is what Prabhu mentioned earlier. So this human life is meant for understanding Brahman. Remember the three questions: who am I? Who is God? Why am I suffering? So this is the real question. This is the real education. But what we need to know is that, what is the difference? Are we Brahman? Sejauh manakah we are Brahman? Remember this question, we always get this in Form 5 and Form 6 questions. Have you all taken history? I've taken history, I've taken BM. So the question will ask like this: sejauh manakah this statement is correct? So first you have to support the statement with all your basis to show that the statement is correct. Then you go on. However, then you put on your points that this statement is not entirely correct, or under certain circumstances that this statement is not entirely correct. Okay, so following, right? Okay, so we will see this now. Yeah, we are Brahman. What is Krishna?
The supreme Brahman.
Yes, he is Para Brahman. We are small gods. Krishna is the God. All right. You can do certain things. You also can create. You also can control. You can also dictate things. You can control your children. You can control your family members. You can control your staff. You're also doing that. But how much? So how do we compare us in terms of water? What are we in terms of water, and what is Krishna in terms of water? I think we did this in level 3, right?
You mean tesa? Water is tesa.
No, the quantity.
It's a drop, or,
yeah,
compared to ocean or something.
Yes, very good. We are also water. I am water, but I am not that supreme water, right? This is the difference. So this is where a lot of misconception among the Hindu practitioners, that the Vedas say that I am God. They take it that I also can become God. No, it's not. Why? Let me bring you one evidence from this Upanishad. So this is Katha Upanishad. Okay, so we have 108 Upanishads. 108, this Upanishad, they are like annexes to Vedas, the 4 Vedas. One Veda will have a certain number of Upanishads. Another Veda will have certain number of Upanishads. They might not have the same number of Upanishads. Okay, so if you remember when we were doing who am I brought in some verses from one Upanishad. That Upanishad speaks about the physiology, about body. So you have all the technical information you want to find. If you think that the physiology information that Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita is not sufficient and you want to dive in further, then you have to look for that Upanishad. Okay, I forgot the name of the Upanishad. So this Katha Upanishad speaks about, it's a conversation between a sage and a Lord of Yama. Lord Yama, god of death. All right. So the topics that is contained under Katha Upanishad is, it discusses nature of Atman, Brahman, and Moksha, liberation. So if you want to learn about these three topics in detail, then you have to look for Katha Upanishad. Okay, there are commentaries by Adi Sankaracharya. I tried reading it, but the English is a bit difficult. So I tried to get another version to give a simple explanation on this verse. Okay, so this verse says, can somebody read for us? Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. Our focus is the first two lines, yeah? Even though the translation is for all four lines, our focus is on the first two lines. So can we have somebody to read this, the one in the box?
I'll read it.
Okay, Prabhu.
Eternal among the ephemeral, conscious among the conscious, who being one dispenses desired object to many, the intelligent who see him seated in themselves to them, eternal peace not to others.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so this one, I am Brahman. So we know that we are the small Brahman. Then who is the big Brahman and what is the difference? So that is why this verse has to be brought in. All right. And it says here Nitya. Nitya means eternal. That one, it's like it's a word from Tamil. So I'm sure we all can relate. Most of us can relate. Okay. It is eternal. He is eternal among the eternals, not the eternal, the superhero movie. we are all eternal because we are spirit soul. Krishna is eternal. We are also eternal. Okay. We are the small spark from the big fire. So we are also eternal. All right. He is the conscious among all the conscious ones. Okay. However, all right, he is eternal, we are eternal. He is conscious, we are also conscious, like father, like son. All right. But the difference is that he dispenses desired objects to many. He provides things to us. He maintains us. He is a singular personality and we are all plural. All right. So Krishna as a singular personality maintains all these plural number. This is the difference. Eko bahunam. Eko means one. Okay. So he is maintaining us. He being the singular number, he is maintaining the plural number, we. So it's different. Okay. We cannot maintain Krishna. Krishna can maintain us. That is the difference. Okay. Krishna is the maintainer and we are the maintained. Krishna is the predominator and we are the predominated. This is the difference. Okay, sometimes we have to use some verses from the Vedas and the scriptures related to the Vedas because there are people that may not be able to accept information from Bhagavad Gita. Remember, Krishna said, I reveal myself to those who have friendly relationship with me. I do not really, because you are not envious of me. Remember, he said this line to Arjuna, because you are not envious to me, I am giving you this knowledge. So what about the rest of the people? So they can go to this kind of scriptures and find out the information is same. That is why Bhagavad Gita is the cream of all the Vedic scriptures. It's the cream. So you can read all the Vedic scriptures and come to this conclusion, or you can read Bhagavad Gita and come to the same conclusion. So choice is ours. Okay. So for the eternal, we know in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna already said, Na hanyate hanyamani sarire. He will say he is not slain when the body is slain, which means when you slay somebody, you are only slaying the body. You're not slaying the
soul.
Very good. Very authentic, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So that is the understanding from Katha Upanishad. All right. So to conclude this, can somebody read for us? A person in false ego. So it's putting all the points in one slide here.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. I just wanted to call your name. Okay.
Okay. Things inside the doer, no knowledge that he is under the control of the Lord, takes all credit for doing things independently, a person in false ego. We were created under the supervision of the Lord, and as such, our bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So remember that 3 layers that is covering the spirit soul. To shed that, we have to engage in this service of Krishna to purify it. And then in our original condition, we can go back to the Lord, Supreme Lord, to the spiritual world. So that's how it works. Okay. So what happens to an ignorant man? The ignorant man forgets that Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesha. Okay, Rishikesha means the master of the senses of the material body. So we all have the senses, and the senses has a master, and that is Krishna. So naturally, what is the occupational duty of a servant to the master?
To serve.
To serve. Yes, very good. To render service. So why this is happening? Why does he forget that he is the servant of Krishna? Can anybody guess why this happens?
False ego.
Okay, so why does that happen?
He forgot his constitution position is to serve Krishna, is a servant of Krishna.
Okay, so his constitutional position is to use his senses to serve the Lord. But on the contrary, what is happening? Where is he using his senses? The opposite, just flip it. What is the flip side of it?
Material assistant. Material work. Material assistant.
So he's serving the material world, is it?
Yes. Yeah, he's serving materials.
Okay, can you specify that further? What are we actually serving? Our senses is meant to be serving the master of the senses. But what are we doing? What we have been doing for a long time?
Serve all other living beings. Other living.
Okay, what else?
Entities. Serve in this. Serve our family, you mean?
But I think we are serving oneself.
Entangled in material world.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to drill down further deeper.
We are just servicing ourselves.
Yeah, oh my God, Mataji, you're right. Absolutely right. Due to his long misuse of senses in sense gratification, because for a long time, we are serving our senses instead of directing it to serve the master of the senses. And like Prabhu said, bewildered by false ego, because we have been serving our senses, right? And then the intelligence says, oh, this mind and senses is very great team. It's giving a lot of happiness. Oh, spirit soul, you should continue doing this. This is what the intelligence does, because intelligence is the rumah sebelah, the spirit soul. And this is why it makes us forget our eternal relationship with Krishna. So if you look at that in that scenario, you will get the picture. You will know who is the black sheep. All right, so you will know where to put your defenses. Okay, all right, so move on. False egoism. Okay, somebody please get ready to read. Let me recite that in Sanskrit. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Very important verse. This verse we did not cover in chapter 3 in both level 1 and level 2. So we are bringing in these verses because it has this term false ego, and because this topic falls under level 3, we are learning this now. So you can see the Bhagavad Gita is so deep that it's not possible to cover all the main verses in level 1 and level 2. Right? Even after we cover this in level 3, there are still more verses and points and philosophy we are not able to cover. It's like lifelong learning. All right. Okay. So can we have somebody to read the translation?
I can.
Okay.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the 3 modes of material nature.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So in this material world, everybody is thinking, I am the greatest. Who can be more than me? This is the ahankara. Ahankara means arrogance, right? The material world is made in such a way for us to feel like that. Okay, everybody is thinking like that. Who is greater than me? I am the greatest. So like that, there is always a competition for this Vimudatma. Who is greater? Ahankara, Vimuda. Ahankara is also from Tamil word, right? Ahankaram. Okay, so that's that arrogance, that who can be greater than me. So there is always a struggle for this Vimudatma. This is a competition. Okay, but the fact is that at the end, he is under the control of the nature. Everyone knows that ultimately death will come and consume us, and all these ahankaras will be taken away. People cannot go on and say, I don't care for God, I am independent, I am God, aham brahmasmi, in a concocted way. All right, so that is why we cannot read the scriptures by our own, because we are full of defects. How many defects are there?
4.
4, yes. So that is why it is recommended reading scriptures under the guidance of a qualified teacher, a guru. Okay, so that is why it's important. That is why we cannot simply take some Sanskrit verses and try to understand on our own. We always have to see the bhashya that has been given by great sages from the past. Bhashya means the explanation. Okay, even some Bhagavad Gita verses we may not be able to understand just by reading the translation. So that is why we need to read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada will explain it nicely and he will give examples. Sometimes Prabhupada brings in verses from other scriptures. Okay, and that is how he makes us understand. So that is how Prabhupada is guiding us. Okay, and we are trying to put our small humble efforts to teach that as well to others. Okay, all right, so that is this ahankara is the false egoism. Okay, we bewildered by this. Okay, but when Krishna comes as death, then everything will be finished, because Krishna says, time I am, I came to destroy everything. Okay, he is death personified himself. All right, so in 10.34 he will see mrityu sarva haras chaha. Mrityu means death. I am death and I took away all your possession. However intelligent we may be, however proud we may be for our possession, but death is sure. That's why we say as sure as death is definitely going to come. So if everything is only temporary, why are we deluding ourselves with false ego? Right? Okay, so this is one example of a personality in the past. He is deluded by this false ego. Okay, he was very wealthy man. Who is this person?
Hiranyakashipu.
Yes, Hiranyakashipu was proud of his possession. He was controlling the 3 worlds. Why he was able to do that? What did he get?
A boon from Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva?
Lord Brahma.
Brahma.
Yeah, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is always the boon givers. Actually, Lord Shiva also, he will give boons. Okay, but in this case, Lord Brahma came and gave the boon. And because all this boon that he had, so many people, everybody was afraid of Hiranyakashipu. So that is why he was terrorizing the 3 worlds. Chastising his Vaishnava son Prahlad Maharaja. Why? What got into him that he was chastising his Vaishnava son? Look at him, how he was so roughly handling his son.
I think Hiranyakashipu wants to be the god, and Prahlad was singing praise for Lord Vishnu
Instead, yeah.
So he was upset over it as well.
Yeah, super upset, super upset. Yes, thank you, Mataji, very nice. But however, eventually Krishna came as Narasimhadeva and everything was finished within a second. Just fight little while and that's it, gone. So Hiranyakashipu's boons gone, his terrorizing activities all gone, everything is gone. Okay, so he was very, very proud of his possession, right? Okay, so and then he was controlling the 3 worlds. So In this way, he was very, very proud, but Krishna came and finished everything. So we should not mistake this, that whatever we have is entirely ours. Okay, so no point having false ego, that thinking that everything belongs to us. We are not the controller. Okay, it could be, and you can take it like this. You can take it this way. You can have this conscious that it has been entrusted to us. We are just an instrument. So why not we channel it, dovetail it in the service of Krishna? Then it will benefit the entire mankind. Okay, only the Lord is the controller because no one is controlling him. Okay, in his pastime, nobody controls him, but he gives special mercy to Mother Yashoda to control him. Even there, when she tried to bind him with the rope to the wooden mortar, she was not able to, right? But with her determination, and Krishna came down and allowed her to die. Okay, so that he wants to enjoy some pastime with his parents. So that happened, but otherwise nobody controls him. Okay, so what about one who knows the Lord? So what happens to those who understand the fact? Somebody prepare to read, yeah? Tatva vittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayo guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate.
One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, Almighty does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in division and work for fruitive results.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So, like Tamari Mataji mentioned, that we are actually has been serving our own senses for a long time instead of serving the masters. So that is the difference. We need to know the difference: work in devotion and work for fruitive result. This is what a person will know how to discriminate or distinguish between these two things when he comes to this understanding. He will not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification. Okay, so I think we are coming to almost to the end of this topic. Okay, one who knows the Lord is not deluded by false ego. So can we have somebody to read this summary? Tattvavit. Tattvavit means knower, yeah? Where we have here, Tattvavit. Tattva means knower, one who's in knowledge. So let's summarize this here. Anybody else? Sirisha Mataji, I have not been hearing you today.
Sure, Mataji, but I read the first one, but now I'm always open to read.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Tattvavit knows he is part and parcel of
Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Tattvavit realizes he is entrapped here and wants to go out and wants out. Tattvavit knows that he is controlled by the Lord. Tattvavit, not disturbed by material problems, takes it as mercy of the Lord. Tattvavit, unattached to the activities of the material senses. He engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to the activities of the material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this is how the person who is a Tattvavit behaves. All right, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and become unattached to the activities of the material senses. Activities need to be done. Only the consciousness has to be detached from the activity and the fruit of the activities. Understanding that these are all circumstantial and the effect is temporary. Okay, duty has to be done, but only different is how you tweak your consciousness. All right. So therefore, it is important that we become free from false ego by remembering that only the Lord is the supreme controller. So the first verse of Lord Brahma's prayers, Brahma Samhita, who can tell me what is the first verse of Brahma Samhita? Punita Mataji? First verse of Brahma Samhita.
I don't know which is the first verse. Is it the Govindam Adipusha?
No. Ishwara?
Ishwara Parama Krishna.
Yeah.
Ananda
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sanchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindam Sarva Karanam. Okay, it means Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the controller. Ishvara means controller. Remember, there are 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita. The first is Ishvara. Okay, then that's Jiva, the controller and the controlled. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Sachit Ananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. He's got a form. What kind of form? Sachit Ananda. Sat, eternal. Chit, full of knowledge. Ananda means?
Bliss.
Yes.
Yes, he's always happy, always blissful. Okay. Anadir Adir Govindam. What is the meaning? Adi means is the original, right? Is the original person. Anadir Adir Govindam. Oh, this Govinda is the original person. Okay. Sarva Karana Karanam. What's the meaning?
The cause of all causes.
Very good. Cause of all causes. Very nice. Okay. Sarva Karana Karanam. So like that, we have concluded the topic on false ego. As usual, we will go on to share something on Nectar of Holy Name. Can we have somebody to read this? Later we have, I think 3 minutes video. So please stay on, okay? Who has not read would like to do the service?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
The effect of chanting the holy name frees us from false ego. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for the enjoyment of oneself only. The whole materialistic world is moving under such false egoism of I and mine. But the factual effect of chanting the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. From Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.11.
All right, thank you, Mataji. So we have a vaccine here. How to bring down the severity of effect of this false egoism. Okay, chanting. All right, because what we pray in the chanting, dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. So we are diverting the sensual activity of the senses. Instead of serving our senses, we want to serve Krishna. So it will work that way. Okay, that is the solution. Preaching is the essence. So I encourage everybody to share what you have learned to people around you. Okay, doesn't matter your children or your friends or your colleagues, and it doesn't matter Hindu or Buddhist or Chinese or Malay, you can, because sometimes I do share with my non-Indian colleagues. I don't have so many Indian colleagues, so I share with non-Indian colleagues, and they feel like, they will definitely nod, right? It's something new for them. So you will know what kind of information to give them, because everybody needs it. It's not only Indian need it, or it's not only Hindu need it. This knowledge from this Bhagavad Gita, from this course, is for everybody. It's for human, all right? So it doesn't matter what is their identity. Okay, one more slide to read. Anyone?
I can read, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Advanced devotees are compassionate and try to preach. When a person is advanced in spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, he naturally becomes very sympathetic towards all living entities suffering in the material world. Naturally, such an advanced person thinks of the suffering of the people in general. If one is actually sympathetic to fallen, suffering humanity, he should try to elevate people from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. By the grace of Krishna, we may raise a person to spiritual consciousness if we ourselves follow the rules and regulations. If we give up our own spiritual activities and simply become concerned with the bodily comforts of others, we will fall into a dangerous position. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So this is the best charity that you can do. Compassion is a very important value that everybody should have. And how do you express your compassionate nature to others? Is not merely by giving some clothes or some food or giving them some job or some money. So these are all symptomatic relief. You need to uproot the cause of all this through giving spiritual knowledge. This is the actual compassion that we should give for everybody to elevate themselves from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. Otherwise, the person is sleeping and you're giving him nice comfortable bed, comfortable pillow, so you're making them sleep, sleep, sleep. No, so wake up. You got to go to work. You have to go back home. That's what we are doing, wake them up. Okay, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. This is a Vaishnava song. Jeev Jago, wake up, right? Wake up, sleeping souls. That is the meaning. Jeev Jago. Okay, all right. So let's move to this. Shravanam is about video, right? This video. So, okay, let's watch.
So therefore, Manasapi Sureshwaraihi. So Madhusudana means Madhu Klibam cha Madhvike Krite Karma Shubha Shubhe Bhaktanam Karmanam Chaiva Sudana Madhusudana. Madhusudan means one who specifically destroys our false ego. So false ego is sometimes compared to Madhu. Madhu means honey. Honey has two qualities. One quality of honey is it is very sweet. And the second quality of honey, which may not be so well known, is that if you have sufficient quantity of honey, it can be intoxicating. It will be intoxicating. So similarly, false ego is compared to honey. Why? Because all the false conceptions which we have about ourselves, which makes us feel that we are so great, I am so great. And when people come and reinforce that false conception by telling us that you're so great, and when we hear from others how great we are, number one, it sounds very sweet. Right? Ah, you are so great, you are so wonderful. We may deny, but it sounds sweet. And then, if so many people keep saying the same thing, then you start getting intoxicated. Like if so many are saying, means democracy means majority. So, looks like everyone has a very good idea about my glories. So it can get intoxicating. So therefore, Krishna tries to save us and protect us from this intoxication, first through his instructions, which he gives. And the second is through his own pastimes. And those pastimes make any sane, intelligent person step back and look at those pastimes and think, okay, who am I? Yeah, here is the person who's really great. Here is the person who has a genuine birth and genuine pastimes. So it looks like there is someone really great here. And I should not be thinking about that myself. So therefore, Manasapi Sureshwara means even the greatest demigods like Brahma, Indra and all were quite bewildered and humbled by Krishna's descent.
Okay, yeah. So Prabhu is saying there is somebody greater than us. So what is the point us telling that we are great, we are great, we are the greatest? Okay, there's somebody greater than us. So that's the point, yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the class today. Any questions? Okay, this Friday is Gaura Purnima, fasting until sunset. Any questions about Mahaprabhu? You all clear, right? Who's Mahaprabhu? He is Lord Krishna himself, descended in the West Bengal more than 500 years ago. His appearances has been predicted in various scriptures in Bhagavatam. So in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that somebody will come, but he is Krishna himself. It's just that he's not in a black complexion. Okay, so that is how it has been indicated. Any questions? Otherwise, we can end the class a little early. So tomorrow is Ekadasi, don't forget.
Yeah.
Okay, and breaking fast is the next day, 7:20 to 11:20.
Okay. Mataji, one question I have.
Yes, Mataji.
Now, when we're talking about false ego, now we get to see, especially parents, they say they're in the spiritual path and they're doing japa and all that, and still they don't overcome this false ego. You say something, the ego, the anger just comes up. Even after all the chanting, how dare you talk to me like that? How dare you tell me like that? So how do we kind of take that kind of a false ego, Mataji?
Actually, those lines, right? Actually, even I'm guilty of doing it, but we are taking a shortcut to do that. We are actually enforcing fear on them. But actually, what we should do is sit and talk to them so that they change their behavior. But it's just that probably we are tired and we just want to cut it short. We speak like that. But every time I do that, right, I feel guilty because I know it's not supposed to be that way. Okay, so
Mataji,
yeah.
I would say,
Good night, Mataji. Kamari Mataji, thank you. Yes, continue, Mataji.
Actually, in my case, what I come across is they try to cut off the time. Though I want to give them time, they try to cut off the time. Okay, let's just cut this topic. Let's talk later. Let's forget it.
Oh, we cannot do that. We cannot sweep under the carpet. We have to address issues and
Yes.
solve it. Yeah.
But that one side is not possible, na Mataji. Mutual should be there, right?
Correct. Yes, Mataji. So, yeah, there are a lot of videos on parenting in Krishna conscious way, and we can try to source for that, Mataji. Are you in the woman Vaishnavi group, Mataji? I think there are a lot of seminars going on there. Some women Mataji mothers, they will give classes, so we can actually take part in that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I left the group, but I can get them to add you. It's very nice, Mataji. So these are practical things, philosophically, it's pretty high level. So on a daily life, we need something more practical. So we can speak association like this outside the class like that, Mataji.
Okay.
I feel you. How old are your kids, Mataji? Wait, I just stopped.